Hello children, welcome to NEET WORLD. This is Narayani, I am your foundation faculty. In previous class, we discussed about the topic of, reproduction in fungi. Right children, just fastly recap that topic. Before that, I would like to announce very important news for you children. We are conducting the summer camp from the April 15th onwards, which means yesterday onwards, right children? So, it is very useful for you children. It is the mode of our foundation courses both offline also and online also, and for both CBSE and SSE also. The mode of learning is through, the mode of medium is English medium for both CBSE and SSE students, and and main motto is the concepts which are very essential for the exams of NEET and JEE examinations. We are providing the main from the basics to the higher level concepts. So, the first free 1 week class are free children. So, do not miss this opportunity. The mode of learning is through digital panel. We are creating a wonderful videos, animations to get to know the concept very clearly children, and one-on-one interactions for you will be provided, and also mainly the career guidance is given to achieve your goals, what you want to become, and the how in what way we can help you through that. And mainly we are keeping the quizzes of at weekly basis, and also cumulative assessments on the end of the month and all that. And see children, the subjects covered by us are physics, chemistry, biology and mathematics. For every 15 days children, the next batch is going to start it. So, do not miss this opportunity. I hope you all clear about this information. If any queries, if any want to contact with us, just scroll down number is there children, contact with that number. The mode of learning is through offline also and online also. For offline people, you can happily come to our institute name called NEET WORLD, present in Hyderabad, Narayani near metro station. Those who want to join through online classes, the downstreaming number is there children. So, contact with that number, thereby we can give the access to you classes in the app name called MedWorld. Right children, I hope you all clear about this information. Please join, and I will be soon seeing you all of you in the classes, right. So, this about the our summer camp children. So, yesterday we discussed about the main reproduction in fungi, and we started the new topic from the new category of the microorganisms, that is Protozoa, right children. So, fastly recap it. So, reproduction in fungi takes place. What is meant by reproduction? The continuity it is raised, right children. It continued its own species, their own kind of species, that is nothing but the reproduction. So, it can be done either by it can be done mainly asexual modes. So, 1 minute. Okay. It mainly done by the asexual modes children. So, asexual modes, there are 3 methods: budding, fragmentation and spore formation. In what is budding? In the for the budding reproduction, what is the example children? Yeast is a good example, which is unicellular fungi. Uni means single. So, single cell organisms, the process of reproduction is budding. So, then outgrowth is formed when the when the yeast is matured and the outgrowth is formed, thereby then again this daughter cell is detached from the parent, then it again when it is mature it is gives rise to the another outgrowth, right children. Otherwise if it is an outgrowth, it forms a chain, right children. This is about the budding. In budding we can see the parent individual sorry in parent individual also, and also daughter individual also, right children. In binary fission, in bacteria what will happen children? Binary fission or multiple fission, right. In binary fission, can we see the parent individual? No, because the parent individual will be extended, like which means if it is a bacteria, the copy of the nucleus will be done, right children. When it becomes a twice amount of it, then it will divide into two cells, 2 daughter cells, right children. The parent individual cannot see, but in budding is not like that, right. So, in budding what will happen? We will observe the parent individual also, right. We will observe the parent individual also. So, budding usually observed in See, if it is a budding, the bud will be arises, outgrowth will be seen. Then it detaches from the parent. Then again when it is matured, it forms another outgrowth. Right children? Under favorable conditions, it again give the another outgrowth, or else it forms the chain of buds. Right? This is about the budding. So, budding is usually observed in unicellular fungus. Example is yeast. Right? So, in budding, outgrowth is called bud. Then outgrowth what we call children? Bud. Arise from the parent, which later detaches from the new individual. Sometimes the new individuals, it budding before detachment from the parent is chain is formed. Right children? This is about the budding. And what is meant by fragmentation? The word itself, fragmentation, refers the fragments. Right children? When when fragmentation occurs in multicellular fungi, like hyphae, where is the hyphae is there. So, when the hyphae, what will happen? The hyphae becomes splits into pieces. That pieces again regenerate the whole whole organism. Right children? This is how the fragmentation is. Fragmentation occurs in multicellular fungi, where the place is hyphae. What is a hyphae? Hyphae is a long cylindrical filaments, long slender-like filaments, which we call it as hyphae. The long collection, the collection of hyphae twisted together, we call them as mycelium. Right children? This is about the hyphae. And break into pieces, and each fragment, if they break it into splits, they are splits into pieces. Then again what will happen? It again regenerates the whole organism. Again it regenerates the whole part, the rest of the part. Right children? This is about the fragmentation. Coming to the spore formation. Spore formation is another method of reproduction. When the spores dispersed under favorable conditions, they will again rise into their single cell bodies. See, spore formation is another method of reproduction. Spores are single cell bodies incised with hard covering, which produce new individual for germination. See, the best example is what I given to you children, rhizopus. Rhizopus having the raising parts. So, I used to say to remember like this, right. So, it is the rising parts, that is why rhizo. Just remember like this. It's not a silly thing, but you can remember like this also. The bulb-like structure having the seed-like structures, which we called as spores. The spores present in this ball-like structure, we call them as sporangia. Sporangia. Right children? The spores present in the bulb-like structure, we call it as sporangia. So, just remember like this, the raising parts we call rhizo, and the bulb-like structure having the pus. So, this is the example of rhizopus children. So, what they are saying, when they are dispersed, when they are under favorable conditions, when it is mature, the bulb-like structure having dispersed the seeds, disperse the spores again form the new rhizopus. This is the best example for this is the spore formation occurs in rhizopus, multicellular fungi. Right children? This is up to we discussed about the fungi. We saw the diagram representation also, right. So, coming to the protozoa, we also discussed what are the examples of protozoa. Examples of protozoa is euglena, amoeba and paramecium. Right children? Paramecium is a slippery like structure. See, it is exactly look like slipper. Right children? So, these are examples of protozoa is euglena, amoeba and paramecium. These are the first animals. So, the relation of animals and protozoa is considered as a first cell wall is not there in the protozoa. Right children? Cell wall is not there in protozoa. So, that is why we call them as a very similarities in animal cell. So, the protozoa means the first animals, they were the earliest animal-like organisms to evolve. After gradual changes, the animal cell is evolved through this protozoa only. That is why the multicellular organisms, the ancestors are, we call them as unicellular organisms, especially protozoa. Protozoa is microscopic single celled and it belongs to the class of protista, right. So, they are the simplest and oldest forms. They show the main life process, like what they show. They feed, we will observe the life movements like feeding, digestion and reproduction, just like higher animals, but not in the greater way children. So they are mostly found in what are their habitats, children? Their habitat is water, moist soil inside bodies of plants and animals. It shows the both saprophytic also, autotrophic also, heterotrophic also, right? So see, their habitat is found in ponds, lakes, rivers, seawater, wet soil. The example is Plasmodium. What I say, children? So when the mosquito bites, it does not gives the malaria. So it is a transport, it is a carrier. The mosquito carrying the Plasmodium, Protozoa, and it is when it bites, it enters the Plasmodium enters through the mosquito. It is a carrier. Mosquito is a carrier, right, children? So Plasmodium inside the human body and causes malaria, right? So again we discussed about its shape. There are irregular, slippery, they are irregular, fixed and oval, round, elongated shape. What are the examples of it, children? Wait. What are examples of it? Irregular shape. Irregular shape means amoeba. Amoeba exhibits a pleuromorphic. What is meant by pleuromorphic, children? Pleuromorphic is nothing but the in the organisms, or else the microorganism like amoeba, they can able to change the shape and structure based on the environment conditions, right, children? So that is why amoeba is also we call it as pleuromorphic. That is why it is in a irregular shape, which is constantly changes its shape. So fixed shape example is paramecium, right? Paramecium is like a slipper like shape, and some oval, round, elongated depending upon the shape. So for elongated we call the example is Euglena, and oval shape the example is Plasmodium, right? And coming to the next, we discussed about the nutrition, right, children? This is where up to we discussed in the yesterday's class. So see, what are the nutritions taken by the protozoa? What is meant by nutrition? Nutrition is nothing but it gives the nourishment, right, children? Nutrition is essential for the life process, because thereby we can get the energy, right? Like protozoa also need nutrition. So what type of nutritions exhibited by the protozoa? They exhibit the heterotrophic, parasitic and autotrophic. What is meant by heterotrophic? They are dependent on other organisms. They are dependent on other organisms. So the example is amoeba. Amoeba, which type of food they eat? Bacteria, algae. They eat these type of organic matter or these type of bacteria. The food is mainly depend on the food of bacteria, organic matter, and like that. So children, so what is heterotrophic? Heterotrophic is a dependent. What is meant by heterotrophic, children? It is a dependent on other organisms. So they cannot make their own food. That is why they are depending on others, right? So this heterotrophic movement we also call it as holozoic. Holozoic. Right. So most protozoa cannot make their own food. Eat small organisms like bacteria and organic matter. Example is amoeba. See how the amoeba shows. Amoeba shows 5 important steps in to make it in the how it is take the material of food. See, first there are 5 steps. 5 different steps of nutrition is seen in amoeba. See, children, what are the 5 steps? Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. These are the 5 steps which is exhibited by the amoeba. So see, ingestion. What is meant by ingestion? Ingestion is nothing but when the food is there, it engulfs the food. What is meant by engulfing? Engulfing is nothing but, see, it is making the false feed. It doesn't have any cilia, flagella and all that. So though it extends its body, it extends its body with like this structure and engulfing the food material present in the outside of the environment, right, children? So it is engulfing it forming a food vacuole. What is meant by, children? Food vacuole. Thereby the enzymes produced by the amoeba body that will be break down the that complex substance into simpler substance. Then the digestion will be happen, right, children? The breaking down will be happen. Then the absorption takes place. After that, assimilation will be take place. Assimilation means utilization of the absorbed food. And next, whatever it take into its body, that all will be not digested, right, children? Some the waste materials or the undigested food will be there. Those will be again covered with the vacuole, and the vacuole is come into contact with the outer covering layer and then it is ejected out. This is what the ejection. These are the 5 nutrition steps exhibited by the amoeba in take of nutrition. So, this is about the nutrition in amoeba. So, they make this false feet that we call it as pseudopodia. It does not have any cilia or flagella for the food to intake of food. So, they make the false they extend the false projections that we call it as pseudopodia. So, that is why pseudopodia is a false feet, right. So, next coming to the another very important nutrition exhibited by the protozoa. For the nutrition purpose they are act as a parasites. What is meant by parasites? The host will be suffer because for giving the shelter of protozoa. See, through the mosquito the plasmodium it travels to the body of the human beings. They cause the malaria. They depend on the source of the humans for the nutrition purpose, right children. So, they live inside the host. They live inside the host and absorb nutrients from the host. Examples is Plasmodium trypanosoma. This is the trypanosoma children. Trypanosoma. This is the trypanosoma and it is the Plasmodium. Plasmodium. So, this is the Plasmodium. So, they exhibit the parasitic type of nutrition. So, see here what are the examples of the parasitic mode of protozoa? Trypanosoma, Plasmodium, Paravecium also exhibit the a parasitic mode of nutrition. So, they live inside the body of the host and absorb nutrients. So, how they absorb? See, this is how they continue their species. See, here the parasitic mode of Plasmodium shows the multiple fission children. What we call multiple fission. By coming to the reproduction part, they exhibit the multiple fission. See, here we studied the many copies will be produced in the multiple fission, right children. See, in the cyst, this is the cyst. Cyst is nothing but the outer covering. So, many multiple cells will be forming inside the cyst, and then when it is ruptures, they all come out. This is what the multiple fission in the Plasmodium which is exhibits by the Protozoa Plasmodium, right. So, coming to the autotrophic, we know that autotrophic means they can exhibit their own, they can prepare their own food inside their body. So, they can prepare their own food by using chlorophyll. The example is Euglena, and Euglena shows both autotrophic also, heterotrophic also. When the light is present, right children, when the light is present, they exhibit the autotrophic nutrition, they can prepare their own food because they have the chloroplast in their body, right children. The chloroplast significance, what it is the function of the chloroplast, they can prepare their own food. So, the chlorophyll, by using the chlorophyll they prepare their own food. But the exhibiting heterotrophic nutrition also, you can ask me the question that why they are exhibiting heterotrophic nutrition, because by the presence of chloroplast also, right children. So, when the deep waters, where the light does not penetrates, so thereby how they can depend on the food, right. So, what they will do, they will depend on the food purpose by the bacteria and all that. So, they engulf they depend on the food for the other microorganisms, that organic matter or bacteria. So, they engulf the food by the their smaller organisms than that, right. So, this is about the Euglena. Euglena shows it is showing 2 types of nutrition, right children. That is why Euglena exhibits mixed trophic nutrition. Mixed trophic nutrition. It exhibits mixed trophic nutrition. This is about the nutrition in the protozoa. What are the examples children? In nutrition of protozoa, they exhibit 3 types of nutritions. What are they? They are heterotrophic, they are dependent on other organisms. Example is amoeba for the heterotrophic nutrition exhibited by the protozoa. exhibited by the protozoa. Example is what, children? Amoeba. So for the parasitic, Plasmodium. Plasmodium, and autotrophic is Euglena. Autotrophic is, children, what is, children, the example of autotrophic? Euglena. Euglena also exhibit the heterotrophic movement also, nutrition also, right, children? So it is exhibiting mixotropic nutrition. So it is the connection between the plants and animals. Euglena is also considered as a what, children? So they are also considered as the, linking between the plants and animals, because they are exhibiting the plant nutrition, autotrophic, and animal nature, like they are depending on the other organisms for the food purpose. So this is the link between the animals, both animals and plants too, right? This is about the nutrition in the protozoa. So let's summarize this, children. So what we discussed? So we discussed the about habitat, shape and nutrition here. So what is the habitat of the protozoa, children? They are water bodies and moist soil. Inside animals and humans also they are present. So what is the shape? They are irregular shaped. Example is amoeba. They are fixed shape. Their example is paramecium. Like paramecium shape is slipper shaped, right, children? Slipper shaped. And round and oval. Plasmodium is a round and oval shaped. And elongated. Elongated is Euglena is the elongated shape. So coming to its nutrition type, they exhibit heterotrophic. Heterotrophic is the amoeba, right, children? They dependent on the other organisms for the food. The amoeba depends on the food for the sources. What their sources it uses? Bacteria, organic matter, like that. So they depend on the other small organisms for their food. It engulfs the food by producing the projections like false feet. So that we called as pseudopodia, right, children? Amoeba exhibits pseudopodia, and parasitic nutrition exhibits the Plasmodium. It causes the malaria in the man, malaria in humans, right, children? It exhibits malaria in humans. So coming to the autotrophic nutrition, Euglena is the example for the autotrophic nutrition. In Euglena, the chloroplast is present. By using the chlorophyll, it prepares their own food. In the absence of light, it exhibits the, what will it will exhibits, children? It exhibits the heterotrophic nutrition. That is why Euglena is considered exhibits both kind of nutritions, heterotrophic also and heterotrophic also, dependent also, and self can prepare their own food also. That is why Euglena is considered as a link between the both plants and animals. So I hope you all clear about this topic, children. So coming to the reproduction in protozoa. So what is meant by reproduction, children? Reproduction is nothing but to increase their population, to increase their race, right, children? To increase their continuity, their own species reproduction will be happening, to producing their own kind of species, right? So protozoa are single cell microscopic organisms that doesn't contain any cell wall, right? So they reproduce to increase their population, continue their species. They continue their species. Protozoa is asexual happens and sexually also happen. Depending on the type of environment conditions, they exhibit both sexual and asexual. In asexual, the parent, the offsprings are exact identical copies will be same. The offsprings are exactly to the parent. And coming to the sexual, the offsprings having the similarities but not exact copies, right, children? And there is in sexual reproduction, their involvement of gametes also. We will discuss in another class what is the differences between sexual and asexual reproduction and all that. So coming to the reproduction exhibit by the protozoa is they exhibit firstly asexual reproduction, the most common reproduction which is seen in the protozoa, children. So it does not involve any gametes. So the gender gametes will not be any, will be there. 1 minute. 1 minute, children. So there is no involvement of any gametes. The genders will be not involved. So their differentiation of genders will be not there. So the most common method is binary fission. What is meant by binary fission, children? It will give us the 2. By the end of the binary fission, we will get the two daughter cells, two identical daughter cells. In that the parent will be extinct. We cannot, after the binary fission we cannot see the parent, because when the infusion happens in bacteria, we studied at the first classification of the microorganisms, right children. When it wants to, when the favorable conditions are there, when you have the enough food and all that, it becomes, to increase its population, what will do? It will twice amount its structure by copying the nucleus. Then it divides into the two daughter cells. First the copy makes the nucleus, then the followed by cytoplasm. Right children? What is meant by cytoplasm? The living fluid present inside the cell. That we call it as cytoplasm. So see here what they said. So binary fission, one parent cell divides two identical daughter cells. They are forming two identical daughter cells with one parent cell, and the first nucleus divides. Of course, when the first copy, what the first copy made? The first they copy the nucleus and they make the copies of the nucleus, and then it is followed by the cytoplasm. Then it is followed by the cytoplasm. Then makes into two daughter identical cells. So they occurs in favorable conditions. When the favorable conditions only, they will divide. Right? Example is amoeba and paramecium both exhibits this type of reproduction. They both exhibits this type of reproduction. And in some cases, in unfavorable conditions, the paramecium exhibits sexual reproduction also, children, but not like the larger animals, children, but they also exhibit the a sexual reproduction. So but the most favorable condition, the paramecium exhibit the binary fission. The daughter cells are identical to the parent cells. So steps of the binary fission we will see in the amoeba, children. So see here, in binary fission the parent will not be seen at the end, right? So coming to the, see, the nucleus elongates and splits into two. When it wants to divide, the the microorganism itself, it's become the twice amount, and the nucleus also becomes the, see how it is dividing into two copies. Then it is dividing into two copies. It is dividing into two copies. 1 minute. So it is dividing into two copies. Then what is dividing? After the nucleus division, the cytoplasm is division is happening, right children? Then it forms a two daughter amoeba cells, right? The nucleus elongates and splits into two. The nucleus elongates and splits into two. Then the cytoplasm also divides. Then after what will happen? The cytoplasm also seen the division. First what will divide? The nucleus elongated and splits into two. Then it is followed by the division of the cytoplasm, children. So next the two amoebas are formed, each of the copy of the original. Then at last what we see in children? Two copies of the amoeba is produced by the copy of the original. So in this the parent will not be seen at the end of the fission. So after only in budding, in fungi children, in budding process we see the parent also, right? In the fission we cannot see the parent because it extinct at the end of the forming the daughter cells. So the parent itself divides into the two daughter cells. So the parents become the twice amount of it, and the nucleus elongated, then it is followed by the cytoplasm is divided, and then it forms the two daughter amoeba cells. This is what the steps of binary fission in amoeba. Right children, I hope you all clear about these steps of the binary fission in amoeba. So it is irregular binary fission because the shape of the amoeba is irregular, right? So okay, coming to the next one, multiple fission. What is meant by multiple fission? In bacteria also happens mostly binary fission, then or else it is occur the multiple fission. What is meant by multiple? The word itself having the many. Multiple means many, right? Fission, the many cells will be seen. So the nucleus divides many times to form several nuclei. See, the nucleus itself divides many cells. See here, so many cells are seen here, right children? So the nucleus divides into many times of the to several nuclei. When it is present in the host, by observing its nutrients, it divides the nucleus into many. Then the cytoplasm surrounds its, after the many times division of the nuclei, children, many times of division of the nuclei, again it is surrounded by the cytoplasm, again it is surrounded by the cytoplasm, right children. So this is how the many cells forms in the inside. So many daughter cells are formed inside, children. So then they occur this occurs in unfavorable conditions. When this occurs in unfavorable conditions, the many multiple cells are present inside the C, inside the nucleus, inside the cell, and then the favorable condition, it ruptures and it transports to it absorbs and the C. After it is ruptures, they absorb the nutrients from the host. Right children, this is how the malaria will be happen in the plasmodium which causes the malaria. Example is plasmodium. It is a malarial parasite. So the nucleus divides many times to form several nuclei inside the cell. So then the cytoplasm surrounds each of the nucleus and form many daughter cells. This occurs in unfavorable conditions or during cyst stage. Cyst stage, what is meant by cyst? When we study in the first classification of bacteria, what is by cyst? Cyst is nothing but the outer covering layer. That is why the microorganisms are very surviving in any extreme conditions also, right children. So the example of this multiple fission is plasmodium malarial parasite, right. So children, so next is what we studied in this reproduction of the protozoa. How it is divided, children? By the binary fission, right. One splits into two. The example is amoeba in the favorable conditions. Of course, in the favorable conditions, by the binary fission it splits into two. Right children, example is amoeba. Coming to the multiple fission, children, one splits into many. Only one splits into many daughter nucleus followed by the cytoplasm. So the example is plasmodium. In under favorable conditions it forms snow, right? So it is no, and it forms a cyst, which means the outer covering layer is protecting the inside present nucleus. And conjugation. See, conjugation is exhibited by the paramecium, children. When the unfavorable conditions, when the paramecium does not divide by the binary fission. So under favorable condition, what I said, they exhibit the binary fission. The paramecium exhibit the binary fission. When the unfavorable conditions, children, it exhibits the conjugation. Right, exchange of DNA between organisms of two paramecium will be seen. So it occurs in the unfavorable conditions. This is the summary of the reproduction of the protozoa, right. So this is what up to we discussed about the protozoa, children. We discussed about what is meant by protozoa, right, in what category it is placed, and their habitat and their nutrition, right children, and also their reproduction. So in protozoa, children, so the euglena and paramecium, if you observe these, these protozoa, euglena having the whip-like structure. Coming to its structure, children, the euglena having the whip-like structure, we call it as flagella, and the paramecium having the cilia, and the paramecium having the cilia. 1 minute, children. Okay. 1 minute, children. So the euglena having the whip-like structure, we call it as flagella. What is a flagella helps in, right? And these having the hair-like structures, right? They plays very key role in the movement, in the locomotion. Locomotion is nothing but movement, right children? So we will discuss about this, function of the cilia and flagella mainly. So see here, children. Is the amoeba having the flagella or cilia? No, it doesn't have any flagella and cilia. So when the food is available to there, it forms the false feet. It forms the projections and with that help of the projections, it engulfs the food, right children? So like that, in how the paramecium and euglena exhibiting the food habitats, how it is engulfing their food with the help of cilia and flagella. So let's see this about the cilia and flagella. So cilia structure is there are small hair-like structures present in the whole body of the protozoa. So and the flagella is long whip-like structure present in the protozoa, and there are many. Cilia is many in number present in a cell, and flagella is morely 1 or 2 flagella per cell. They are shorter in length. The cilia is very shorter in length, and coming to the flagella, they are longer in length. Coming to its movement, children, they are beat rhythmically like tiny oars. See how the cilia exhibits, how it is the locomotion happens. So what is the cilia and flagella works? They helps in the locomotion by which means movement, right? So they movement. So flagella actually swims. It swims, right, children? And how the cilia moves. Cilia shows the rhythmatic movement. It shows the rhythmatic movement, children. And in flagella, they swim. So with the help of that, protozoa helps in movement. So coming to the next one, what is the function? Helps in movement and also feeding. For the feeding purpose, if the food is catches by the movement. For the locomotion only, the cilia and flagella is mainly their function. So they mainly help in movement. Cilia helps in movement also and feeding also. And see here, the mainly help in movement. Flagella mainly help in movement. So paramecium having the many number of cilia around its structure, right, children? So there helps in both movement also and feeding purpose also. And coming to the euglena, see here, they having the whip-like structure, they helps in locomotion for the movement, right? So when it is the oral groove, children, for the feeding purpose, the water and the food which is present, which goes to this oral groove, and it is followed by the food vacuole, it consumes it, absorbs it the food. And euglena also prepare their own food. It is autotrophic and exhibiting heterotrophic also. It is a mixture. What type of nutrition is shown in the euglena, children? It shows the mixotropic nutrition, right, children? This is about the difference between the cilia and flagella, children. So what type of food? It depends on mainly paramecium. Paramecium depends on the food. The food sources for this algae and bacteria. This is about the cilia and flagella, children. Mainly cilia and flagella helps in locomotion for the movement, and the mainly cilia helps in the feeding purpose in the paramecium. Euglena having the euglena with the help of the flagella, it swims, it travels, right, children? It shows the swimming movements. And coming to the cilia, it is being rhythmic movements, which means they will travel like this for the movement also and also for the feeding purpose also. This is what about the protozoa of the third category of the microorganisms, children. So let's discuss we will also discuss what is the difference between the bacteria and fungi, children, in the next class. So I hope you all clear about this today's session. So if any doubts, please comment in the comment section, children. And also we will discuss what is the useful and what are the harmful protozoa and all that. So this is up to the today's class. Before winding up the class, I would like to announce, children, very important news for you. So we are starting the foundation course from the April 15th onwards. Yesterday onwards, children, we have started also the 15th batch, the second batch is started already. I hope you all aware of it. And the main subjects in this summer camp we are providing you is physics, chemistry, biology and mathematics. So the main concepts covered based on the exams of NEET and JEE examination, children. The concept should be teach to you in a basic level to the higher level, children. We are using the digital panel for your for better understanding, digital learning. So we are creating the very beautiful animations, wonderful animations and videos to get understand the concept for you. So this is what about the summer camp foundation course, children. And we are providing the quick quizzes in the weekly based sessions and also 2 days of activity based learning, and we are keeping you the cumulative assessments, right, children? This is what about the NEET World Summer Camp Program, and it is available both in offline mode also, online mode also. Those who want to go through online, they can happily access this our classes by the scrolling number is there, no children, the contact with that number, then we will give you the access. The first 1 week classes are free, children. I hope you all aware of it, and who want to join through offline mode of classes, they can happily come to your institute name called NEET World, present in Hyderabad, Narayani G near metro station. And the mode of learning is English medium, both CBSE also and SSE also. So if any doubts, if any queries, please contact with the number, children. So thank you.